Tonight, we're going to be building a Go Box. We're going to determine what kind of Go Box you might want. What are you going to be using it for? Where are you going to be using it? Are you going to only be using it when you go, or are you going to be using it in the shack? Are you going to be using it in the front seat of your car? And we're going to tell you all the different options that you have there. And then we're going to choose what enclosure would work best, because, you know, when you're doing these Go Boxes, there's a lot of different options. You can do it inexpensively at start and then eventually work up to something that's a lot fancier. But like anything else in ham radio, you can start small and work big. And that's what's great about it. We're going to talk about power supplies and supplying power to your radio and cooling systems. Cooling for radios is always important. And a lot of times we forget that when we're planning things. And we're going to talk about wiring and how we're going to do plug outs. A lot of people want to do plug outs on the side. It's really not necessary because you're going to take the back off anyway for ventilation. You can just run your wires right out the back. But we're going to talk about plug outs because a lot of people like the plug outs. And we're going to also talk about lighting and different accessories that you can mount inside your Go Box as well. There's a lot going on. But after that, we're going to also talk about space weather. The storm is over. It was a hell of a storm this last week. And it caused some really cool and some really bad radio conditions. You almost had to kind of watch the bands and see when it opened up. Yeah, so I heard a couple of people say that there was some neat openings on 10, 12, and stuff like that. But also I was told that it wiped out 80 and 40 for a while.
I couldn't even talk to Atlanta last night.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, these CMEs, when they come in real strong like this, and they really mess up the geomagnetic sphere, it basically creates a situation where propagation gets lost. We don't get it. It doesn't happen. But during the time getting in and out, a lot of times it will produce better propagation. People that say CMEs just totally ruin your propagation, I don't agree. It changes it significantly, and you got to chase it and figure out where it's at. Another amazing postcard weekend coming up this weekend, guys. Highs in the 70s, lows in the 50s. It's the perfect weekend for all that yard work that you've been wanting to get done. And no tropical threats. The season is drawing to a close, and it looks like we have escaped another hurricane season. And we're going to talk about, there is one big contest this weekend. It's CW Sweeps, and we're going to talk about that, sweepstakes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's this weekend. I don't do CW. I hate CW because that's what kept me out of ham radio for a very long time. I'm kind of kidding, but you know what I mean. All right, so anyway, tonight we're going to talk about Go Boxes. And I'll be honest, I don't have a big fancy slideshow tonight because there's really not a way to teach this like a class. What we're going to do tonight is just literally go on Amazon and explore all the different options that are available to you. And we're going to start with one that Joseph built. He decided, I'm going to just build one. I'm not going to buy anything right now. I'm just going to build one with material I have. And he built one, and it works. And so we're going to talk about that, show you that. Joseph, do you have that available to share, or do you need me to get that over here?
I could share it.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Let me just give me one second.
No, take your time. What Joseph did was he went out, he found the parts he needed, cut the wood, what he needed in the pipe, and put it all together. He's going to show you a picture of it, and then I'll let him explain to you what he was trying to accomplish and what he finally did. But like I said, a Go Box is not necessarily even a box. It can be a Go rack.
A Go frame.
Honestly, it can be a Go briefcase. It can be a Go metal case, one of those $25 little metal cases that you can buy. I have one of those set up here. That's an old Comrex box that I bought off one of the guys at the radio station, Drew Steele, as a matter of fact. And it's a nice big heavy duty, like big super suitcase, like in the movies they'd put the money in. And I open it up, and I've got a spot in there where 2 radios mount in there with the power supply and everything. And it's really cool because you could take it somewhere and open it up, and there's room to hide 2 different magnetic antennas down in there. And it's basically a kit that's ready to go. That worked out pretty good. because it was a case I already had. I used 2 pieces of wood to go across to mount the little radio brackets on so that the radios would sit on like a 20-degree angle. So they were looking up at me as I was using it. All right, here's Joseph. So I'll turn it over to him so he can explain to you what he did there.
PVC pipe.
All right. So part of this whole moving thing was transporting the ham radios, and I wanted a solution that I could set up in just a few minutes and have all the radios up and running, especially if you have a whole bunch of radios like me. I've got like 5 radios that I want to be able to use all at once. And I thought, I'll make a frame and put them all in there. So this is made out of 3/4 inch PVC. We went to Lowe's and I just got a bunch of these 90-degree T's is what they're called, that make up each corner. So it's got 3 little holes in it, and you just put all the pipes in there. And then in the middle is just a standard T that runs across. So you have 2 like bays pretty much. So that's the wrong order. Okay, here we go. So what I did was I actually used, I wanted to use proper like PVC solvent on these joints to make them, be able to be picked up without the pipes just going and coming apart. But I didn't have any at the house. Both cans that we had were dried up. And I was like, well, I'm not waiting to go to Lowe's again. So I actually just screwed it together. And that's almost a better solution because it's probably a little, that solvent stuff you put on these pipes is like really, really strong. Like it's not going to come out. But this kind of was a little bit easier to assemble because once you put that glue on there, that solvent on there, and you put the pipe in, there's no getting that out. With this, it can actually be disassembled. So I don't know. The solvent would have been better, but this is what I had. So it is screwed together, and the screws do stick out the other end, but I put some like what do you call it, some like putty on the end of it, so that if my hand is moving around back there, I don't poke my hand. And then I have a piece of plywood that I cut in half, and I cut little notches out because it wasn't quite the right size, and that's just screwed to the cross members on there that make up the frame. And the pieces of wood do also make it more sturdy. It doesn't like bend or flex very much with the wood on there, and it gives you like the perfect mounting point for like all your radio equipment. So the next thing I did was I started putting the TR 7400 on there, and this has little like holes in it. Can I zoom in on this? Yes, it actually has little holes. So I put a zip tie through the little hole. It's like a little bracket thing, and that goes through a hole in the wood and just zip ties underneath. So that will not come out even if the cube gets tipped over. And then we have the tone encoder right here, which is also screwed down, and like you can run your wires really nicely too. I ran these and I actually twist them around the pole so they're not in the way. It is kind of maybe not the best solution to wrap them around the pole, because if this were to smash up against something, then you'd kind of be squashing your wires. But
it's an RF joke.
Yeah, almost. What did I do next? Yeah, so this is the top looking down. This right here, this gray radio, is that Kenwood R5000 receiver, and I'm actually going to be giving to Ian tomorrow. I'm going to replace this tomorrow with a TS440S, which is the same exact size and shape. It's like the same radio, just it has a transmitter in it. So you can see that fits in there pretty well. This black thing here is the FT8900 that I have. The head separates, so I'll show you in a minute what I did with the head, but I mounted it up here, and so you can plug in the cable really easy. The bracket is still used. It's still screwed down nice and tight, and that's not going anywhere, and it's got plenty of cooling. Here you can see the 8900 right here. I've actually attached it to the top of the radio. It's stuck down with 3M foam tape at an angle. I do want to actually make a proper like hinge for it at some point, so it's like actually attached, but this is the best I could do for now, was to actually just stick it down, and it actually works pretty well. This is the mic cord coming out right here, but the cable just goes up back here, plugs into this little port. It's wrapped around the post, the same as the tone encoder wire. Here it is, the finished product. So you can see here I've got a Citizens Band radio. It's mounted to the bottom of the top shelf using its little bracket. And then under here I've got the amplifier. All this stuff is attached as well. So if this were to tip, well, in the picture right here, this is not attached because I'm going to be removing that tomorrow. But if this thing were to tip over or go upside down, none of the equipment would fall out. It's firmly attached down. So the amplifier is here. It's on the bottom. I mounted it this way so that I could put a fan at the back or the front and have it blow through the fins on the amp, because the amp does get pretty warm whenever you transmit a lot with it. And the microphone for the CB actually comes and clips back here. I did order a bunch of new CB radio like mic holders, like the come with your radio, like this thing here. It's the same thing. I just ordered a bunch more of the brackets. So that hooks up under there. That's all set up, ready to go. Then we got the amp, and then we got the Kenwood here. That's mounted the same as it was before. And then I've got the 8900, and I actually put the little external speaker I have underneath here. It's mounted to the top of this, or sorry, the bottom of the second shelf. And that external speaker is like essential for the 8900 because the speaker in there is super tinny. It's like the worst speaker ever. I don't know why they built this nice radio and put a terrible speaker in it. And the radio is sitting over here upside down, so it's not really in a great spot anyway. But there's your external speaker mounted under there, and then the tone encoder and all that. And the microphone, I actually did put a bracket right here, which isn't in the best spot because if this were to hit something, that bracket would probably get crushed or bent or the wire or the screws pulled out. But it is like that for now. I'll probably build something else later so that I can mount them in a position that or like a removable bracket. That way, once this is in use, I want all the microphones to be easily accessible. But when this is in transportation, I just unplug everything. So maybe at some point I'll build like a little box to store the microphones in or something. That's pretty much the extent of this. I didn't take any pictures of the back. I should have, but I didn't. You can kind of just guess what's going on back there. But I really, really like this. The whole thing can be just picked up from the top rails here. It can just be picked up and carried. And even with all this equipment on there, I mean, it weighs like 50 pounds or something. Like, it's heavy, but it doesn't break. And it's perfect. I was able to pick this whole thing up and just carry it out to the car and just put it in the back of the car. It's like, boom, all your radios there. And at some point, I'll probably put like little LED strips under here or something to light up. I think that'd be pretty cool. I still got some more stuff to do. I do want to put some kind of like computer in here at some point, maybe like a Raspberry Pi with a little screen that like would sit on top of the tone encoder or something. I think that'd be pretty cool. But I think this is super cool. I should have built this a long time ago. It's perfect for like field day because I have this table here next to me that's like the same exact size as the bottom of this thing. So whenever I'm home, I just set this on the table. And whenever I want to take it out, I mean, it's perfect. The thing is, it's not just for in the field use. It's perfect for at home use as well. That's my main thing that I like about it, is that once you want to go somewhere, you just pick the whole thing up, disconnect your battery. That's the other thing that I still need to do. I want to get some of these. You can get these it's like a strip of metal with a bunch of holes in it and screws. So you have a bunch of screw terminals, and you can pretty much have like power rails. I think that's what you call them actually. So you feed power in through one wire, and then all the radios can just be wired up to this hub. And all of them have power at once, which is something I really want to do. I need to get some of those. But it's just such a great solution for radios, especially when you have a lot, I think, because you can just pick the whole thing up and take it anywhere and then take it back home and wire it up. I just think it's really cool. So that's what I did, PVC pipe. Oh, and the whole thing only cost like, I want to say maybe $40, if that, $35. The pipe was cheap. I mean, even now with the shortages, the pipe, I bought two 10-foot sections of 3/4. That was like $4 a piece, I think, or maybe it wasn't even that. It was like, yeah, it was $4 even. So that's $8 for that. And then the little elbow pieces was just like maybe $20 for all the pieces I got. And then the wood is just plywood. You could get that cut at Lowe's, and you could get like, it costs almost nothing. So it was cheap. It was simple. It took me like maybe 2 hours to build this. And that was because I was interrupted a lot while I was doing it. But just a really great solution if you want something. Obviously, it can be done better. I do want to rebuild this at some point to be a little bit more sturdy, but it's a great solution for a first-time Go box, I think. That's the end of my thing.
All right. Well, there you go. I got to tell you, my other camera went out, but that's all right. We're going to continue on with this one. All right, let's see here. Oh, my screen came back on. I'll tell you what, I can't wait. There's like 3 or 4 components I just really want to replace out of here. Okay, let's go ahead and Dave. I wanted to go to Dave WG4K. He's showing us his unit there in the background. Dave, you want to tell us about yours? I don't mean to put you on the spot. You can say no.
No, I'm okay. This is
Okay.
my 4th iteration of a Go box. My first was nothing more than a power supply with a 2-meter transceiver strapped to the top of it. But my second Go box, and I wish I had pictures to bring up. My second Go box was in one of those, well, like the orange boxes, except mine was camo, and it had 2 shelves in it. And pretty much I had what's in this box right here. So then my third iteration was one of these boxes here. It's an equipment box or a stage box or whatever you want to call them, that opens in the front and the back. And that was the purpose of going to that. My third one was twice this size. This, I think, is, let me think now, 4 rack units high. And my other one was 8 rack units high. But anyway, a rack unit's 1 3/4 inches. But so it was pretty big and pretty heavy. And I got to the point where I decided I wanted to go lighter. Had I done a little more research, I could have found out that they build those with wheels and a handle, so you can roll it around, but I didn't do that. So this is my 4 rack unit high. In it, I have Kenwood 8100. Yeah, it's an old one. It's from a long time ago. And it's a dual band, dual watch, and it has a jack in the back for data, which makes it great. And so I can do the WinLink with that. And above that, you see a TNC. And I believe below that, you see an LDG tuner, 100-watt tuner. Well, actually, it's the 7000, which was designed for the IC 7000, but I'm using it with an IC 706. You can see the 706 is lit up there. And below the 706 is the power supply. I can't remember the nomenclature now. It's like a 1223 or something. Power supply made in Canada. And of course, there's 2 microphones laying on the desk. The little white strip, I can't really point it out, but the little, maybe I can. Here we go. The little white strip right there. That is a shield, and behind it I have a strip of LED lights. There's 2 switches over here on the 2 switches right there. One of them is to turn on an exhaust fan I have installed in the back, and the other one is to turn on that light strip. And above it, you see 2 speakers. One is an amplified speaker, which has noise cancellation built in, so it's tied to the 706, and the other speaker is tied to the 8100. And since it's a powered speaker in the middle, you see a little strip at the top there. It's got the power outlet for the power speakers and the 2 audio outputs. So in the back, I have another strip of lights to light up the back so I can see what's going on back there when I need to work on it. And I also have an exhaust fan. And the back comes off just like the front does. So it's open all the way through and allows it to breathe. So just like I said, this is my 4th iteration, and it's ready to go. And back to you, Ian, G4K.
All right, thanks, Dave. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's a nice one. I'm with you on the weight and the size, but I'm going a lot bigger. I'm going to get one with wheels and the pull-up thing that, like, you take it like a suitcase. I started planning mine at a U20 and realized that it's even hard to find them that big. I'm now down to about a U12 or U13 is probably where I'm going to end up being. A U is, like he said, 1 3/4 inches. That's a U unit, whatever they call it. But that's the slide-in racks. They're 19 inches or
19.
so wide. Yeah, is it 18, 19? What is it?
19.
19.
19.
They're 19 inches. Yeah, they're 19 inches wide, and they come in 3 different depths. That's something you got to watch for when you buy your box. There's different depths. Even though the widths are all standard and the heights are all standard, if you get a U4, it's going to hold 4 units of whatever you put in there.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of your radios will not fit in 1 unit. You got to remember that. So if you're going to put a radio in there, it's not going to all fit in 1 unit. So you might have to allow for 2 of your units to be your radio slot where you're going to have your radios mounted in there. What I want to do, I want to go around real quick. Is there anybody else that has a Go box they'd like to show us and tell us about?
Wish I did, but I don't.
Okay, well, I just wanted to see if anybody wanted to go there. All right, let's. What I want to do, I want to show you guys all the options that are out there. The Gator box is the one that I'm probably going to end up with, but I may end up getting the knockoff Gator box because it's a lot cheaper, and it doesn't say Gator box.
Yeah, this one's a Gator box.
Yeah, the Gator boxes are nice. They're probably built slightly better, but the off-brand ones will probably get me by. But there's a lot of different things. Let me go ahead and share the screen so you can see it. Let's see here. Do that. And let me go back over here and hit F11. There we go. You guys should see that now.
Mhm.
I'm just on Amazon. And basically, we're just going to go down. There's 2 different kinds. There's this style and this style. They're both great. They both hold the same kind of rack systems that we're talking about. This is kind of similar to what I'm wanting to put together right here. And I'm going to try to see if I can find a resolution that gives you guys a better view. But that's basically on its side how it operates, and then there it is sitting upright. That's what it looks like with the front and back covers taken off. And then there it is with from the side view.
Gotta watch the depth.
You got to watch the depth. You probably don't need the deepest one, but you probably don't want the shallowest one. I've actually been looking at probably going with the middle one because the deep one's going to give me a lot of dead space in the back. I do want some dead space so that I don't want all my stuff crammed in there too tight. I like the fact that all the radios will end way before the back of the case. That way I got room to wrap up a few wires and stick in there or put whatever else I need to put in there. But there's other things you can get for these besides just shelves to hold your radios. They make drawers, they make slide out racks, they make keyboard racks. They make all kinds of different things that go into these or universal racks. Well, here, there you go. Look at this. Pick your size.
Wow.
6U. That's not 6U. That's 6U.
There's a 12U.
12U. Oh, yeah.
That's the one you want?
Yeah, if it gets any bigger, it's going to be a screw you because I won't be able to lift it.
If you can carry a 12U around.
Well, I'm sure with all my radios and everything in this thing will weigh 150 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
I'll have to get Joseph to drive all the way down here and help me lift it up on the table.
So do you get shelves for these? You have to get like, what do you mount the radios to?
You put in shelves, I guess.
Do they have like universal shelves or something?
Yeah,
that you can...
everything with these is universal. This is like here's your standard shelf that you can buy. That's a good one. That's a good short one there to mount your radio on because your screws go right through the holes. You can mount your radio bracket right on that shelf, and then your radio will slide nice and flat right on that shelf, and it'll breathe. And then your fins will probably hang over the back where they can get a lot of air. So that's what I would use right there for my shelving deck.
Ventilation is important.
Yeah, ventilation's important. As you can see, that stupid little thing there's $22. I mean, they really like this stuff. They like it more than I do. But anyway, and you can see how it mounts in there with other equipment. But everything is standardized with these racks, which is kind of one of the things I like about the racks is because it's all standard. You can the stuff you buy for this rack will literally work on any rack. I was hoping that there's the drawer. I would love one of these Not this one. I think is a U2 or a U3. I only want mine to be like a U, uh, probably a 2. Uh, but I want it big enough to hold all my radios and my chargers, and I want to have a flashlight down in there, and I want to have my little box with all my connectors in it, and all that
Just
stuff would
keep
go
in
down in there.
mind, the
And
more crap you put in there, the heavier it gets.
well, I don't
That's
care because
the space.
I'll find somebody that can help me lift it up on the table, or I'll sit on the floor. I'll bring a pillow and just sit on the floor next to it. But
Hand truck.
There you go.
but I would love something like this, because one of the things you got to think about when you okay, what am I going to need when I go to a shelter? I'm going to need a place to lock my stuff up temporarily. This gives you a place to put your wallet or your keys or your radio, whatever your portables that you're not using. I want to have a little secured metal drawer that comes in and out that I can lock with a key and walk away from my station and not have to worry about all my little stuff disappearing.
It's a good point.
Yeah, there's a lot of sticky fingers. This one's a little bigger than what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
As long as I got to measure it. If a bow thing will fit flat down in a U1, then I'll probably get U1s, because I'm going to put a piece of foam in there. So I have 3 radios that fit down in there. And then there'll be spots for the antennas. And then there'll be the other stuff will be over there. The chargers, the way I wanted to do my chargers is I wanted to flip those over. There's a shot of a big rack.
Oh, it's got wheels.
Yeah. And that shows the shelving unit at the bottom, or the drawer unit at the bottom.
See, one of these would be good with the wheels on it if you had some kind of maybe like a battery. If you had a really big battery and like the charging circuit and solar panel equipment, you could do one with wheels on it and have that sit on the ground next to your table.
Let's do this. Let me change this search parameters here. When I was searching for this, man, I found so many different things. I was kind of surprised. Look at all the different shelves.
Oh, they're called server racks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like with anything else. You got to get the right vernacular to get the right search results.
Yeah.
But look at all these different things you can buy. Those are blanks. So you can buy these and put your switches in them and your lights or whatever.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Different kinds of shelves. Like I said, the short shelves works good because I want my fins hanging out beyond the shelf.
Yeah, the back of the radio.
Yeah, you want those fins like hanging out over the end of it, so it's all by themselves.
You can use all this stuff in repeater shelves too.
See, that's what.
Cabinets.
Exactly. This same stuff will work in those repeater cabinets Joe's selling at the shop. This one here, that little short one, that'd be a good one for a radio because again, the fins would hang off the back. And then you got something like this that you might want to use for other things. This one might work for your power supplies too if you can bolt them down. And we're going to talk about power supplies in a few minutes and how we're going to do that. Here's an example of 2 shelves in a rack. You can put 2 radios, 2 power supplies, whatever else you need there, your drawer down there, and maybe have one more thin one up here at the top where you could have all your switches and your lights and your things like that. Some of the things you need little 12-volt switches for and is going to be, there's a cool enclosure.
That's for putting your pets.
Yeah, that's for when you bring your pets to the shelter. Yeah, but there's let's see here. That's a cool one. But there's so many things here, so many different options that you have with these U cases. But you do have to remember all this stuff is metal. It's not necessarily designed to be portable. It's not made out of aluminum. There's not a lot of plastic components. This stuff's built like a brick, you know what, because it's made for commercial applications. So you just have to remember, like Dave said, the weight is going to be probably becoming one of your biggest issues here when you're building this thing. Like I said, I built it up to a U19, realized I was obviously smoking crack, and got it back down to about a U12, and that's about where I'm at right now. Is about a 12. I need 12. There's an interesting thing you can put in, and look,
Oh, that's cool.
you can put this in the back. You can mount these from front to back, and you can mount them from back to front. So in other words, on the front, you've got radios and power supply front ends, and your wind link or whatever front end. All your different front ends are there, so you can see everything. But then when you flip the box around, you could have this in the back where you could plug additional things in. You could have everything plugged into it, so you can use the back like a second rack, because if you buy a deep one, you would actually have some room in the back where you could put all your plug-ins, your plug-outs. You could have LAN in, LAN out, power in, power out, 12-volt in, 12-volt out, battery connections. It can all go through these kind of things on the back of the rack. You guys see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can mount things on the front and the back. They've got the rack screws on the front and the back.
See a few repeaters set up that way.
Yeah. I'm telling you guys, this is the way to go. It's expensive. Takes time to build it. But once you get it built, it's built. Those are I think those are wire chases. I'm
Oh,
not sure. Yeah, they're looms. Like where when you're running a bunch of network cables, you could use those to loom them down and through. We got those at work. Hey, when this COVID thing's over, okay, I'm gonna work on getting whoever wants to go through the station. You guys, I want to get you on a tour down there.
Yeah,
I'll be allowed to do that once we get the hypochondria to away.
Sign me up.
Look at that big rack right there. That's what I need there. That's like a
oh,
U90. That's a
42U.
That's a 42U.
That'll go
Yeah.
up to the ceiling.
I could put 3 repeaters in there too.
Oh, yeah, easy.
There's the little thin drawer. This is
There
the one
you go.
That's the one I was looking at right there. Look at that.
I bet a Baofeng would fit in that. Maybe, well, I might take the belt clip off, but that'd probably fit in there. I was also thinking it might be cool if you had one of these, you could put a keyboard in it.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
that
a
was
slide
one of
out
the things I
keyboard.
wanted to do.
If they make this, but with no lip on it, like just a flat surface that can roll out, that would be good for a keyboard, because otherwise you're going to be kind of having to rest your wrists on the side of this thing. But if they make one that's just like a tray with no sides or no front, that would be ideal for a keyboard. You could put like a Pi 400 there and all the wires and everything just fasten it down.
Go wireless.
There you go. Yeah, perfect idea.
That works good for the keyboard. What I was actually looking at and doing with this is using one of these drawers and having a keyboard and there'll be enough room to put the mouse next to it. Although you wouldn't use the mouse in the drawer, but it would be a spot there for it and the mouse pad and everything. And then you could just
400 would fit in there.
Yeah, but you could have the keyboard, and then even if I use a laptop or if I use one of the new mini desktop Windows type machines that they've got out now, whatever kind of computer I decide to put in there, they're making some really small, really neat computer monitors for $100. I mean, they're really not that much. And I've got some used ones here. I got this great one right here that I'm using right now. There's one really good one here that I bought at a thrift shop for $8, and it has 19 by something resolution. I take this with me. I have it in a separate case or whatever, and I take this with me, and it sits next to the rack. We do too much on the computer not to have the computer a central part of this thing. And so I've got to build the computer into it without making it too heavy. And so what I was looking at was those Windows, they call them micro desktops.
I know what you're talking about.
They're about an inch tall, and they're about 4 inches by 5 inches or something, or 5 inches by 5 inches.
Yeah, Nook. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those.
That
You
or
can-
ITX form factor.
Yeah, you can buy them for a couple $100.
Look up Nook, N-U-C.
Yeah, either look up Nook or ITX, one or the other.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's it right there.
Those are a
Until
little
now.
more expensive.
Yeah, well, I'm probably not going to get that one at $539, but
Yeah.
but most ham stuff will run on a Windows XP, so we're not talking about needing a lot of power here, but
i3 would be the biggest you'd need. But
yeah,
I'd almost go with like a Pi 4 or
Yeah.
something in an air cooled case with a proper fan and everything. You probably
I'd go
the only
for-
downside is that running Linux that might be kind of,
I'd
although
go
all
for
the
a
ham
Pi
stuff works with
400.
Linux.
Pi 400. You got
I wanna-
everything
I
in
wanna
the
make-
keyboard.
yeah, I want to make sure it runs everything I want to do, because my box I'm going to use for contesting, and I'm going to use for hunting. I'm going to use for activating and
Yeah,
contesting. So when you look
gotta
at all
make
the
sure.
different things I want to do, I want the computer to be a pretty big part of it.
And then you can link everything up, with FL Digi and start doing PSK and all
Yeah.
that kind of cool stuff.
I'm going to see how money gets next year, because I've thought seriously about buying an air card, that I could hook up through my phone company, through my cell company, 20-30 bucks a month or whatever. And it would give me unlimited internet, and it would have an antenna connection on it, and I could actually build antennas for it. And I want to be able to take this thing out in the middle of freaking nowhere where there's no cell service and put up a beam and see if I want to experiment with trying to get cell service and in distant areas where you can't get it now. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, there's something that you may or may not know about me, but one of my fantasies has always been chasing storms and
Me
chasing
too.
tornadoes, chasing
I was
hurricanes.
just thinking about that tonight.
I know I would give anything, and I have done some of
Oklahoma.
it. Exactly. I'd love to do Oklahoma. You have no idea. I could just go. Look, I would love to go spend 3 months in Kansas, and just literally just go wherever we think it's going to be every day, type of thing. But I love chasing, and I want to chase hurricanes, and there's something that they haven't been able to really do yet. It was done some in Irma, and it was done some in a few other recent storms, but it hasn't really been done that well. And that's beaming back a signal during the storm, because cell towers start going down. Cell tower go down. Cell tower.
Oh, yeah,
There's
sure.
one guy, and I don't have his information for you, but there's one guy that built a system that he chained or bolted or whatever to a municipal pole down on the beach somewhere, and it had a directional antenna on it, and he has some kind of system in there. I was reading about it. It hooks up to all three cell companies. It's got a packet for all three cell companies, and he had a Yagi that's facing this little Yagi about this big, that's facing back towards the closest cluster of cell towers, or back towards civilization anyway. And as the storm came through and as cell towers would go down, this thing would stay up because it would continue to be able to get new cell towers as they would go down. It would find one further away because it's look. Could you imagine how good your phone would be if your phone had a directional Yagi on top that you could point at the cell tower? This has no antenna now but your head. Okay. Could you imagine, seriously? I mean, the biggest antenna this has is your hand and your head. Could you imagine if this had a 5-element Yagi about the size of my hand on top? I could suddenly talk in areas that would be dead. Up at my cabin, I have one spot out on the banister where we can sit our phones, and it works. So what I have to do, literally, is I have to go out and sit out there if I want to use the phone or the computer. So what we've done is I bought a phone receiver for $10 and a long cord, and I ran it up under the house and into the house. So now when I'm sitting inside the house, I got my cell phone tethered with the tethering turned on, the Wi-Fi, and I put that out there, and I plug this wire into it. And so now when I'm sitting inside my cabin where it's nice and warm and it's not snowing, I can pick up this white phone, hit the button, it goes bink, and I say, call Joseph. And it will call Joseph, because it's just like having a headphone hooked up to my phone. It's just a long cord that plugs into the headphone jack, and it's a headphone thing. They're really, really cheap. And it solved a lot of problems with me. Receiver 4 headphones. See if I can find it real quick and show you. Yeah, there it is, I think. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, it looks just like an old telephone, but it's got a wire that connects to your cell phone. So instead of holding your cell phone, you can just hold this, and then I just put a really long wire on it. So now when I'm in my cabin, my phone can be way out on the banister where it has to be, but my cell phone works because I can talk on this handset, and my computer works because I got it hooked to the Wi-Fi. But it would be so much better if I could just put an antenna out on the banister, like a little Yagi, that would give me a lot better internet, a lot better service, quicker internet, and I could run that in, and maybe even put up some kind of passive antenna where I put up a little dipole inside the cabin and hook it up passively between the two or something. I've been looking at some really cool ideas, but I always come back to the same problem. My cell phone doesn't have an antenna jack on it. And so
Yeah, I always sucks.
it does. So what do you do about that?
Just do.
I don't know why my
Gotta get a repeater.
Yeah, or something. Why my display just went out? What's going on here?
Uh-oh.
Oh, hey, it's back.
Weird.
Now you got to get one of those repeaters they make for RVs, where it's got an external antenna and then and the second antenna that goes inside the cabin, and it's got a beefier antenna for the cell side of things, and then it just repeats that cell signal like a normal LTE. Like it kind of, the phone thinks it's a normal tower, and it connects to that and uses it. And those are great because you can put your own antenna on there, so you could put on the roof of your cabin like a proper beam, or just on the porch or something, just a beam faced towards the tower, and then this thing, your phone would see it as a normal tower, but like with a strong signal. And
Yeah,
then you can do that.
that's what I need. I didn't even really know they had that till you told me about that a while back.
You know what else? Old like flip phones. They had removable antennas, and it would screw. You could unscrew it. The connectors they used were probably not standard, and you'd have a hard time building something that could connect to it. But if you could maybe take apart the antenna and wire something on directly, you could take a flip phone and make a directional antenna for it. Although that, I mean, that'd be kind of like having unless you had it on a wire or something, you can't have it on a long wire because then you have a lot of losses. But
yeah, and you look really funny walking around the mall with that thing. But
you take a left turn and your signal goes out.
Well, just so you can see it, this is what I bought for the cabin.
Oh yeah, I've seen one of these.
Yep, and it's a cheap thing. There's not, it's just a cheap thing. And but I bought a 25-foot cable to go on there. It's the triple band cable that's got the mic and the speaker in it, and I run that underneath the house and up through the floor. And so when I'm inside, I have this hanging on the wall like a telephone, like the old days. I literally made a little rack and it hangs like the old days on the wall. And if I need to use the phone, I just pick it up and use it. If I hear it ringing, I pick it up and hit the button and it answers.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a pretty cool little thing, really. Anyway, there you go. That's that.
Little off subject. Did you see the video out of Hurricane Sam?
No.
Boat. Oh, that's slick.
What was it of? What was it about?
It was a boat thing they had made, a kind of a drone, but it floated, and it showed video out of Hurricane Sam. Look online for it. You'll see it.
Was the hurricane like out in the ocean, or was it when it made landfall?
No, it was in the middle of the ocean.
Oh,
Hurricane Sam never made landfall anywhere. It was a fish storm. But
when was this? When was
a couple of months ago?
Oh, okay.
This thing was like 140 miles an hour, and they had this drone boat out in the middle of it. Showed the video out of it. It's pretty neat.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it had
neat.
50-foot waves. It's a sailboat. It's a drone sailboat that
Yeah.
radioed all this data back.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
That's pretty
Well,
neat.
I'm gonna tell you guys. Next thing. Well, go ahead. Does somebody have something?
I was gonna say the hard part of getting a signal out of a hurricane is the rain fade. I think it causes a lot of problems for even just normal like satellite. Um, Even if you have a satellite, data system, the rain fade is too bad and it can't get a signal out. I don't know how bad it is at lower frequencies. I don't
know
think
what
rain affects
frequency
too
they
much.
used.
What?
They had to beam it up to some satellite, but they
Yeah.
got live video out of the thing.
Oh, that's pretty good. They managed to do that. That's pretty good. I wonder what they were using for satellite, what service it was.
I love when I'm in the shack by myself and things are moving around behind me.
It's the,
Is this
it's the alienos.
All right, what I want to do real quick is
Halloween is over.
there's a. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this here. No, it's not going to work. Hold on. What I want to do is I want to go through and just look at some pictures of some boxes and show you guys some different ideas. I know this is crazy, but one of the things I do is I like to just go look and find other people that are doing the same thing I'm doing and how they set it up. Here's some different ideas for you. These are some different boxes. There's a nice little compact box. Yeah, that's nice. He's got his HF there and he's got his VHF UHF. And I'm sure that's a tuner. That looks like an MFJ tuner. And he's got his two speakers. I'm going to tell you guys something. Speakers. Because I'm going to tell you something. The little speakers in these radios suck. And you get in a shelter and the wind's blowing, you're going to need something you can hear. Or if you're out in a contest and the birds are singing overhead, you're going to need a speaker where you can hear. I recommend headphone jacks available, and I also what I recommend is a headphone jack that you can plug into that leaves the speaker on.
That's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
That way you can plug in and hear, and if you have a partner or if you have people that are monitoring with you, they can also hear. But you can have
be able
that.
to hear it so they can log.
Right, exactly. If you're doing field day, I want it to be open so people can hear what I'm doing, if they're showing people around, whatever. But I also want to have my headphones on. When you plug your headphones into the radio, it ends up blanking out the speaker. So that's just something to think about when you're wiring it. Maybe wire it with a jack so that when you plug into the jack, you end up getting the audio from, say, both radios without canceling out either speaker. Maybe you get your one radio on one side, one radio on the other side in your headphones. And but when you plug it in, it doesn't cancel out your two speakers, so people can still hear.
It's a real shack in the box right there.
The jack in the radio, when you jack in an external speaker, it cuts off the internal speaker. So you'd have to modify the jack in your radio.
Or you could, you use an external speaker anyway.
Yeah, you're using an internal anyway. You're just going to hook a plug up to it to where you can plug headphones in as well.
Yeah, just set up a switch.
Just do a splitter. You could build a splitter and then make a box with 4 jacks on it, and you could have a switch to enable auxiliary output.
Yeah, that'll work.
This is a neat little box. Notice he's got his power poles. So he's 12-volt in. He's got his voltage meter and a little power switch there. And he's got it. USBs. I strongly suggest that you put charging USBs on the box, on the outside, somewhere easy to get to, on the front, in the back, wherever you want to put them. But you will use those. Trust me, you will use those. People, the first thing you're going to do is find that everybody needs to charge their phone.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure they're high power chargers too.
Yeah.
Like
don't
a 10
skimp
amp.
on that. You want to get a really good charging strip.
There's also PowerWorks, PowerWerx. You may have some of their stuff in here too.
Yeah, and you can put these on the side, on the back. You can put them on a panel on the back. You can drill a hole and put them in the side. You can put them on a panel on the front. You can drill a hole and put them on the top. Doesn't matter where you put them. Or you can have them just up inside and you can just wire the stuff in the back when you get there. It all depends on how fancy you want to be.
Look at this guy too, the one you've got currently. He's got his antenna, PL259, actually case mounted in there, and then the antenna is like a telescopic thing, so he can just pick that out of his case and screw it on, and it sticks straight up. Wonder how well that would perform.
This thing is literally ready to go right now. You just
His
plug it in.
I want to say his only weak side in this is the actual radio. He looks like he's using one of those cheap Chinese ones that die after a while. And this says Great Lakes Prepping on it. It says Great Lakes Prepping on here, and I'd hate for him to be in an actual situation and have his finals catch on fire.
Well, if it's the end of the world,
emergency, your radio would have self-destructed in 5 seconds.
If it's the end of the world and 98% of the population's dead, I'm going to break in somebody's house and get me a Yazoo. Anyway, there's some cool stuff there. Notice this little box he's got set up here. I don't know what that is in there.
It's like a power supply of some kind.
Yeah, that might be his battery or his power supply. Got his little radio set up there. That's one of those, that's an ICOM, I think, with the 4 knobs and the big screen.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what that is.
Here's a neat one.
Oh, he's got a computer in this one.
Yeah, like I said, guys, we got to look towards build. It should have a computer incorporated, because what's the first thing you're going to need is WinLink. And if you're contesting, you're going to need JS8 digital modes, FT8. You're going to need all those different things. I mean, you may just say, look, I have a laptop and I'm just going to bring my laptop and set it up next to the box. That's fine too. As long as you got your jacks all set and you're all ready to go, that's fine too. I just want to build a computer into the box that's already hooked up to everything. All the rig controls, all the bull crap, everything's already hooked up to one thing. It's already running. It's perfect. And then when I bring my laptop, I have something I can type and do reports and watch videos on or whatever. There's a little Chinese one. Those are $85. They work for about 9 months and then the fire comes out the back. I've had 2 of these. The magic smoke.
You might get through 1 or 2 hurricanes with that if you're lucky.
Yep. Now here he's got like a power supply strip up here.
I like that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. You guys know what want to know how to find really cool stuff? I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's marine stuff. It's a little more expensive, but they have exactly what you're looking for. Let's see. Look at
where it's all like case mount.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, hey, it's the same thing.
Yeah, we just saw that. The guy just bought it from a marine shop. Like I said, marine stuff's a little more expensive, but look, it's watertight.
And man, I really like that. It's USB and it's got a voltage readout and it's case mount. That is like super cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so like I said, marine stuff. If you got more money than I do, marine stuff. You can even go on the cheap. You can put you a 3 cigarette lighter plug adapter on the front and then just plug in what you need, like this. This gives you your voltage and it gives you two USBs. But yeah, when it comes to this kind of stuff, when you type in marine, you start getting this really cool stuff that has like the water caps on it and things like that, which is probably more what you're looking for if you're building a Go box. That's kind of cool. I like this little cluster.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah, it's 12-volt plug, and then you got 2 USBs, voltage meter, and a switch. You're probably going to, when I first built when I was thinking about building mine, I'm like, I got to build it I gotta have some switches. So you can also get this stuff also comes with switches too. And look at this. Oh, how pretty. That would look really cool on your Go box. And you could have your LED lights,
Oh,
your back LED lights, your fan system,
that's
your radio
fancy.
1, radio 2. This one can launch the missiles. This can be for the shields.
Like I said, a portable enterprise.
Yeah. And this one here, once you hit that, 30 seconds later, and once you hit it, there's no way to stop it.
Self-destruct.
All right. Anybody names that episode, you get the award for the night. All right. Original series, The Doomsday Machine. You guys suck. All right. So yeah, this is a little cute one. Look at this. I like that.
It's Mission Impossible, and Mr. Phelps is the one that got the message about self-destruct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You're probably right on that too. But I was bringing us
I
back
used to love those.
I was bringing us back to the last 10 minutes of the Doomsday Machine, the best Star Trek episode ever made. All right, let's see. Yeah, they got little 3-switch ones here, and all this stuff. Now, where else can I find switches? Well, let's see here. Let's type in the word police switches. Oh, hey.
Ooh.
Yeah, same thing. You get little boxes with switches if you want those. These are all 12 volt. So this is another great way, you know, to you can find different things by. I typed in police switches, and look at all the really cool switch boxes you can buy.
Wow.
And blinking lights for your chase mobile.
Oh man, I need a light bar for my Go box.
You can buy anything you need to get arrested right here.
I don't think Carmine Marcino would have put
Carmine. But yeah, there you go. These are like waterproof switches for like boats. Look at these. These are pretty cool. You mount that in there just like you would a radio.
Yeah.
You see? But I'm kind of wanting to show you guys that you can find the think outside the ham radio box.
Think outside the Go box.
There's switches with the built-in meters again. Oh, hey, that's kind of cool.
Yes, it multimeter. What the hell is that?
That's a power meter for something.
That looks cool. You could just like Velcro right on the front and plug it in.
Oh, it tells you how much current a USB device is pulling. See, it says out Type C.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I get it. Yeah, I like that. That's neat. All right, so there we go. Let's see here. Yeah, there it is again. It's a tester. Yeah, you're right. It's to test how much something's using. Now, let's talk about this while we're here.
Oh.
Fuse panels. Fusing. Fusing is easy. This is all you do. Look at this. It goes right under the terminals. Or you can get the kind with the blade connectors. It doesn't matter. But here, let's do this. 12-volt fuse panel. Yeah, any kind you want. Look at that. You can make it look really pretty for about $21. And you just hook all your radios up here. Positives, negatives. Boom, boom, boom. Or, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, those are negative up there. Negative, negative, negative. That's your negative stuff. And your positive goes in here. And these are all your positives, and they're fused. And that's a really nice unit right there. $21. And no connectors, no nothing. Your wires go right underneath the little stamper thing, and you screw it down. And you're all set to go. And you put one of these in there. Every single thing gets its own fuse. You want to use just the right fuse. Go to each radio and put the right size fuse. If the manufacturer says it should be a 10, put a 10 on it. If it's blowing a 10 and the manufacturer says it should be a 10, put it on a different 10. And if it blows that too, I would suggest getting that radio tested or on a meter or something. Because if it's pulling more than your manufacturer's recommended amperage, something's wrong with it. The finals are about to go out or something. I don't know. I'm not my specialty yet. Look at all these different options on fuse panels. That might be all you need if you're building a small box.
Yeah, you don't need a real big one.
Or you might want a big one. And don't say, oh, I bought that one because I like the color of the fuses. Because the colors of the amps, you guys know, or the amps, you guys know that.
Yeah.
Now, notice some of these are minis and some of these are micros.
Yeah.
I don't like the micros. If I'm building a box, I'm going to get the minis, but not the micros. I don't want those little teeny blades. These are much easier, these regular sizes.
You want to buy the size fuse that you can drive into the 7-Eleven and get a replacement for.
Right.
Yeah, car fuses.
And currently, both of the fuses I'm mentioning are both currently available everywhere. You guys know there's the little colored blade fuses that are big. They're about 3/4 of an inch wide that look just like these here. And then there's the mini blades that are about just under a 1/2 inch wide. And that's these, I believe that's these right here. They look almost the same, but they're much smaller.
Yeah.
Okay, see, this one's kind of cool. It's got little lights to let you know which circuits are active. You can buy some neat stuff for $20 here, $20 there. But I'll tell you what, this Go Box can nickel and dime you to death, too. Now, all right. Does anybody have any questions on anything so far that we've gone over? Or can I look up something or tell you about something? Let me know.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Trying to get us back to where we were here. All right, there we go. Now, there's other kinds of racks that you can buy. Where did that? Oh, here we go. You can build them in a Pelican case. Let's say you want something that's completely watertight. Oh, I like this one. This one's from the United Federation of Planets, Starfleet Command. Look at that. That's kind of cool, huh? He's got the screen mounted in the top of the Pelican case.
PX3 in there.
Yeah, and he's got, I'm sure the mouse just plugs in and comes over here, but he's got a little keyboard there. He's got his radio head right there. And that looks like a portable mounted in there with the antenna coming up. That's probably a digital, I would assume. And he's got his little power tap back here. Looks like about 2 radio heads in there. Oh, wait, here we go.
Yeah. That's okay.
Now that's pretty cool. I don't care who you are. Oh, that one's kind of cool. That's that one we saw earlier. Look at that. Joseph, that's in a very small box, dude. Everything's been really small on that. That sure looks like a Yazoo mic.
Yeah.
Or Yazoo, Yuzu. How am I supposed to pronounce it this week? Yazoo. If I say it fast, it comes out right. They don't like when I call them a Yazoo. It's a Yazoo. My wife said, don't be buying no more of them fancy Yazoos. Here's a cool one. Look at this. He's got his switches on the side. He's got the nuclear switches, so you have to flip them twice. And the voltage meter there. This is probably a battery box, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Probably got a battery mounted in there. And he puts this next to his rig. Oh, look at that. That's cute. It's cute. Put a little Bofang on there. all UV5R in and stuff. Got a clock, little clock on there. That's cool. That's a neat idea, right? Surface mount marine clock. A little tuner there. Is a little Yazoo. And that's a WinLink box. One of those things. That's a cool little system there. I like that. Here's a sample of wiring.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's nice and clean. Notice he used a fuse panel that already had the power poles built into it.
Yeah, that's
So he went right from power pole right out of the fuse panel, right into the radio. Oh, I don't know what I did here, but yeah, that's a pretty cool deal right there. I like that. Now that's a sweet box right there. Now that's a little too clean for me. My goodness, I don't even know what that is. L-Craft Go Box. Oh, look at that with the two 6-volt batteries down in there. Wonder how long that lasts, because those don't recharge. There you go. There's the wiring again with the power poles. And nice little setup there. That's all on a shelf rack. Notice the shelf? That shelf goes right into a U-rack system. That's compact as hell. I'm going to tell you what, compact is wonderful. Gotta love compact, right? But cooling's a bitch with compact. I'm just telling you. The more nicer it looks, the less it can breathe. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to make the front really tight and really beautiful, you might want to consider drilling a hole in the side and pumping some air in the sides. And then that way it can go in the sides and out the back, maybe. Because if the front's completely, full of everything, you might want to, like I said, use the sides to bring in air. They make these little fans. I got one right here, but it's being used right now. All these little fans. Where I had another one right here. These little computer fans. You can buy them at the swap shop. You know the little fans you pull out of your computer? They're about this big. One side always has a metal grill on it. All you do is mount that right on the inside of your Go Box, and you take the metal grill and you put it on the outside of your Go Box, and you screw it together. And now you've just put a fan on your Go Box. You just cut a round hole, put the square fan on the inside, and the metal framing that was on the fan on the outside. Put your screws through, and you're done. It looks professional as hell because you've got this neat little grill on the outside. And I have one right here. I wish I could show you, but it's hooked up and I'm using it. I can't get it up to where I don't think I can get it to where the camera can see it.
Sure.
Not without screwing everything up. But it won't work. Okay, that's all right. The wire's not long enough. But anyway, it's a little computer speaker that has the little metal grill on one side. And like I said, you put the speaker on the inside of the box. That way it doesn't get snagged on nothing. And you put the grill on the outside. Okay. I haven't seen that yet, but if I see one in here like that, we'll bring that back up again. There's one with a little mini laptop in it. He's got a little weather station in there. That's kind of cool.
Hey, he's got 8900.
Yep. Yeah, there's your 8900. That's a nice little setup. That's in a Pelican case. Why Pelican cases? They're waterproof. If you put all marine stuff in, like if you buy the right stuff, your box will pretty much be waterproof, or at least very water resistant.
Yeah, those cases are really good.
Here's what the back of mine's probably going to look like. And you can also do
repeater cabinet.
Yeah, you can also do solar. Here's one made into a top mount box out of an ammo can. That's pretty cool. Got the antenna right there. That thing's ready to use just like it is. And then all you got to do is just put the mic down in there, put the wire down in there, take the antenna and put it down in there and close the box, and you're done.
That's already pre-manufactured, and I'm trying to think who it is.
Well, let's click the link.
Quicksilver Radio. I think
Free shipping. It's now in effect. There you go, $379.
No, it's a
it
complete
comes-
box.
It's out of the box. Yep.
Wow.
It's got
Ammo
a
can.
1.2 amp.
Ammo can.
You can have it in olive drab, desert tan, or tactical black.
Oh, I like the tactical black myself.
I wish they did the choice of radio is always these Baofengs that cook themselves. It's like it's a TYT.
You do get 1 day of fantastic smoke.
I don't know. The thing is, if they had to put a better radio in there, then it'd be a lot more expensive.
I'd almost
You
wish
don't
they
have to
sell.
buy that with the radio. You can buy it.
I was
without
just
the
going to
radio.
say, I wonder if they sell it without the radio.
They do. They
Oh,
do.
here it is.
That's the
It
way
just
I-
has the battery.
There you go.
Here you go. Ammo power.
Put my little,
It's a Hamo. I love it. Hamo by Hamo box.
yeah. It's a Hamo can.
Hamo power
I could put my little
with our new Hamo power
That
system.
shack 2 meter
You
rig,
will-
which will probably outlive all of those Chinese rigs.
Yeah, but in another few years, those Chinese rigs will be $12 a piece.
You'll have to carry several of them so that when one blows, you get the next one, throw it in the trash. and
They
put it back.
they're gonna have to make like a removable finals thing, like a hot swappable transmitter
Hot swap
circuit.
radio, you know.
That's a
I'd
very
rather this
clean.
radio in the trash with it.
That is very clean. Yeah.
It's an older install, but it's a very clean install. I like that.
It's nice.
Wow, there's
Oh,
some
there you
portable.
go.
There's some portable op.
Where's the
Yeah.
table?
Well,
It's
he
under-
looked
it's
at the
under there.
table. That's wild.
They got a camouflaged tablecloth. They don't want to be able to see dinner.
That stuff is just floating. There's no
That's-
table.
Look at that.
It
That's
actually
pretty
looks
cool.
like a bad salad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of spaghetti here. That's a cool one. They got the transparent.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, here you go. Soft side.
Oh, that's,
Hmm.
Let's go soft side.
that's a
Interesting one.
Yazoo 817 or 18.
Yeah, I think it's an 817 maybe.
Yep, that's either 817 or 818. The little Elecraft T1 tuner in the background there.
Very tactical.
It's a man pack, so you ladies don't look.
He's got the Baofeng with tactical battery and telescopic giant antenna. It's always funny to see people with those.
They work, but the thing is you need to pull it out and tune it and then use it.
Yeah, I bet most of them don't know they're supposed to
You
do
got
that.
to analyze it. You got to, put it on your analyzer, and then pull it out until you get like the desired wavelength or whatever.
You just
I don't-
gotta put markings on there for.
exactly, yeah.
That's kind of slick.
I used to have I still have a telescopic HT antenna. They're pretty good. They perform very good, but they have to be fully extended. And it was solid, and so I actually sat on the radio one time, and it broke the connector on the antenna because there's just no flex.
Yeah.
It
Well, there's a
detailed-
hell of a rig there. He's got it. I'm sure this is all. See, he's got shelves here.
Yeah.
Was drawers? Like drawers. He's
Yeah,
got
those-
two
they got
drawers.
two drawers. And then this is all power stuff, I guess.
I see 220 volts. Got that outlets there. There's an inverter on that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty good. He's got another one of the 817s with the connector on the front. What are
Yeah.
those?
It's a QRP radio, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wonder
Think
if you
so.
could plug a coffee pot into that inverter.
Probably drain your battery pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's really compact. It's all in an ammo can there.
Yeah, that's one of
That's
those.
TYT.
Yeah.
That actually almost looks like a Kenwood or something. Ooh, he's got a TS2000 in there.
That's a TS2000.
That's pretty good. Oh, he's got a 4100 as well in the center there with the white screen. Icon 4100.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I want to do this. I want my call sign stamped out of steel and put on the top when I'll illuminate it with light. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I guess this is the equivalent of putting like underglow on your car.
Make sure it's luminescent. You put a black light on it, it glows.
Oh man.
Yeah. I don't bother doing anything with my car, but you should see my Go box. There's shows you the power poles. And the thing is, you know why that's like that? Probably is this one's input.
Ooh.
They'll have input
Solar
and
panel.
output or solar. And that
Solar
way
panel,
he might have his solar converter in here. And so he's got solar in,
Charge converter.
12-volt in, and then he's got two 12-volt out. And then he's got 12-volt out here. And that might have batteries in it too. This may just be his power and conversion unit.
Yeah, that's a
What
power.
radio is that? That's a weird one I've never seen before.
On the upper right hand. That's a TS480. I got one right here.
Oh,
Yeah.
looks kind of funky.
Funky talks.
All right here.
Oh, there you go.
Pretty good little radio. Hadn't been on in a while.
I like the lights on that one. That's what I need to do.
Yeah, I'm definitely putting LED lights in inside mine, inside in the back, but also along the front like that. So
You know, it would be cool. If you're doing like what I did with that Raspberry Pi and breakout board, where the microphone actually goes through the Pi first before ever reaching the radio, you could have the lights switch modes whenever you key up. You have the lights change color or something.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I mean, kind of useless, but it'd be kind of cool. Key up, it turns red.
You know, useless can still be fun. Look at government.
It's not so much fun.
Oh,
It's
did I
like
say
that
that out
money
loud?
Flushing down the toilet by the trillions.
Yeah, that's in like a soft-sided zipper dealing.
I don't know about these soft things. I'd be worried. The hard
I
is
think
kind
I
of.
would too. I want something a little more.
Well,
Oh,
it's
another
it-
8900.
It's still in a hard case. It's just not got the steel wrapped all the way around it, and
Oh, there
that's
you go.
got to be a lot lighter, dude.
Probably so. Another
That has a little
8900.
pocket.
The third 8900 we've seen today.
Oh yeah, well those are popular radios. I almost bought one of those at one time.
Ooh, that's cool. Got 7300 in there, and he's got a. What's this flat? So I see the tuner and power supply. What is this printed on?
That's
That
a dummy load.
that looks like a dummy load.
Why?
Dummy
So
load.
why would you want that in your Go box?
Good question, but
I don't know, man. When I'm operating, I leave the dummies at home.
Geez, you could exclude all of Washington D.C. doing that. Politics.
Underhanded comments about the government night here on the TechNet.
So look at this. Look at this. See this one here we have pulled up right now. The 4100 is there, but he has to put the base of it next to it. I mean, he doesn't have to, but why does ICOM insist on putting the mic connector on the base of the radio when the head is designed to not even mount on the radio?
You know,
I mean-
I honestly think that's ignorant.
It must be. I mean, Yaesu figured it out back in way long time ago. There's no
Motorola
reason for
figured it
this.
out in the 70s.
There's no reason for this other than just being extremely inconvenient. I mean,
I don't get that. I really don't get that at all.
just put it on the head.
Because you want to be able to put that somewhere cool, somewhere out of the way. Well, you've just restricted it. Now it has to be 5 feet from the driver.
Or you have to buy an extension. Which,
There's
I mean,
probably the reason.
Now these boxes here provide even a higher level of protection.
oh, wow, you could
these-
drop that off a building and it'd survive.
Yeah,
That
these
stuff
are-
looks like it's combat ready, you know?
Yep. And it's not that expensive. Gator makes this kind of thing too. And it's not much more expensive than the other one. It looks bulkier, but it's plastic. It may actually be lighter.
Could be.
And it sure looked like it would protect your stuff better.
Yeah, it's got like these
Yeah.
chunks of something.
It's still got the metal frame inside that it's all connected to.
You know, if I was gonna get one of these, I'd try and find one in like a gray or a white, because if this is black and you're doing field day and it's in the sun, it's gonna get
rule
really,
number
really
one,
hot.
I don't do anything that's in the sun.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, no, but I get what you're saying. If we're ever in direct sunlight, that the heat would become a problem. That's a cool little setup.
It's old.
Yeah, it is.
Still, it's pretty good though.
Got Windows 98 going on.
Blue screen of death.
That's a cool little battery box going on.
Yeah, that's nice.
See, that's like a,
blaster.
you know what that is? That's a marine battery. That's a regular 12-volt marine battery inside a marine box. And he's mounted a little power pull-off dingy dealy or a regulator or whatever this is. Yeah, and then he's got a little fuse panel. So now he can sit this on a table and 2 or 3 guys can hook up to it right here.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Drain that puppy right now. All right, look at that. That's kind of cool.
There you go. Yeah, that's like a flat. I like how they have the fan and they put a little cover over it. I think that's pretty nice looking.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier, where the fan's behind the panel, but the cover's in front of the panel. You see what I mean?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And it looks clean. All you've done is drill a hole in your panel and shove an old computer speaker in there, but it looks like you've done something. I've actually
what's this?
I have 2 of these stepper cases. I have 2 of these from when I did paranormal research, and they're both in great shape. And I thought when I saw this at first, wow, that's a pretty cool idea. Let's see what the website associated with it says. Oh, wow, a lot of stuff there. But yeah, this is pretty cool. If you had a system where you wanted to have a couple of batteries, like big deep cycle batteries or something, you put them down in this bottom one, have all your parts and stuff in the middle one, have your radios mounted in the top one. It's kind of cool. And then once you get everything set up, you can close it back up and your radios are like their own little table sitting right here on top, in the top of this opening. I wish this opened so you could see it. I'm just clicking links here. God knows what's going to come up. I ain't allowing nothing. All right. Well, we tried. Oh, crap. Did I just close my... I think I did. Anytime I want to see things, I just go to Google Images. I type it in Google and I click Images. And that's all you have to do, and it comes right up. What is this? 44 bucks. Oh, look at that. It's a radio ready kit.
It's a cool backpack.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Look at that.
He's got his amplifier.
Linear amplifier.
That's pretty cool. You could even shove maybe small children in there.
Oh, look, it's got a little plug in it.
I kind of like it, but I don't hike because hiking's a lot of work. I found hiking is just a bunch of BS, really.
I don't enjoy the company of snakes and gators.
Well, it's not the snakes and gators that bothers me. It's all the manual labor and walking.
Yeah, well, that too.
That's a cool
When I was
setup.
in Georgia, they used to like to go to parks and stuff, but about the worst thing you'd run into there'd be a bear. But down here, you got snakes and gators. I think no thanks.
Look at these. These are nice go boxes.
Yeah,
and look at these little pockets here to hold his equipment. Those are just bank bags that he's glued on the lid.
Yeah, that's pretty
The only
good.
They're
thing I
literally
don't like
zipper
about
bags.
That kind of stuff is you're not ready to operate.
What do you
Notice-
mean?
Because you got to set up a bunch of stuff to get it going.
Well, yeah, I mean, I want to strike a balance between how long it takes me to set it up and how functional it is once it's set up.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
I like-
going to be ready to go.
These
You gotta
setups are
get
kind
those
of
set up.
nice
Yeah.
because you can sit this on the table like that, and now you're looking at your radios.
Yeah. So you're most of the way there to set up. You plug, hook up your antennas and your power supplies, and you're ready to go. Now, that's pretty slick.
Oh, he's got a signal link. Yeah, that is pretty cool.
That's a Yazoo rig, and I think it's strictly HF.
Big old Yazoo.
A Yazoo.
Yazoo.
Yazoo. Hell is
That's a
that?
new one.
A 703 or 706.
Shack in a can.
Shack in a can.
I love the shack in a can. We already looked at that one. Yeah, there's some really neat stuff in here. Let me get down. We've already looked at some of these. Anyway, does anybody have any questions? Please speak up. Don't be shy. There's only about 12 of us in here. I guess this wasn't a big interest tonight, but that's okay. It certainly is a big interest of mine. I have to be honest. I've been wanting to do a Go Box for a while. I got one I can use for a Go Box. Now, let's stop here for a minute and let's talk seriously. We have to decide, what do you want to do with your Go Box? Do you want your Go Box to just be something that you mount the radios in and take them out? Or do you want something that you mount the stuff in and you leave it and you never touch it? That's the first thing you have to decide. Is this going to be a thing that holds my main equipment when I'm going out of town? Or is this something I'm going to build separate from my main equipment? Or option number 3, which is what I did, what I'm going to be doing, is I'm setting up a U12-ish rack that will sit right here on my desk and be my radio system in the shack, right from the rack. The rack will be used every day by me in the shack. It'll sit here on a 15-degree angle, and everything in the shack will come down and we'll wire right into the back of it. Now, when it's time to go, I go in the back and I unhook the 3 antennas or whatever. I unhook the power, the 110 power going into the back of it. I put the front and the back covers on it, and I pick it up and I carry it out to my van. I open the passenger door and it sits right on the passenger seat, where I can then take the 2 panels back off again, put those in the back, and I can bring my antenna wires down from the roof and plug them right into the side of the thing. And then I have a 12-volt power pull off the side that plugs into my cigarette lighter, or more optimally, you would have a dedicated power coming in, and you would power pull into your vehicle's power and go. And now you're mobile, you're hunting, you're roving, you're doing all the things you need to do with roof-mounted antennas and a Go Box with computers and everything that's working in your right seat, just like a police car, okay? Then when you get where you're going, you unhook that. You can now put it on a picnic table or in a shelter or wherever, hook up your big antennas out in the field, your cabin, wherever you're vacationing, your hotel room. You can sit that right out on the back porch of your hotel room and take a 6-foot piece of wood and hang it off your balcony and just drape your wire down outside the building.
I'm sure they'd love that.
And you're freaking talking, man.
Yeah, that'd probably work pretty well.
Yeah. So I mean, you want to get it away from the building, but yeah, that's all you got to do. You get your end fed, bring it with you, and drop it out of your 5th floor window down towards the ground, and you're talking. So there's
the
just
people
so many
below
things.
you.
Yeah. So being portable helps. when you go up to your room, you don't want to leave your radios in the car. You're going to bring them up to your room. They're all in the rack anyway. So you just bring the rack up to your room. It wheels. It's on wheels. You just bring it up to your room. And, you know, to your wife's
Somebody call the
chagrin, there,
CIA. That's a spy.
your wife will get sick of that box because everywhere you go, there's your wife. There's that box. But yeah, I mean, it's, it would be a great way to be able to get, because right now when I go up to my cabin, it takes me 4 hours to set all this crap up. I have stackers of radios and tuners and everything has to be hooked up and computers and screens and interfaces and rig controllers and it's ridiculous. And I would love to go on vacation, walk up there and just sit my box down right there in my cabin where I put my radios and hook up my radios that I've already got because I plan to put antennas up there and just leave them. I got a nice Ringo Ranger for VHF that I'm gonna bring up there and mount to the chimney. Rick, did you have something?
What are you going to use for HF?
Oh, I'm gonna eventually string a wire up there permanently. Other Rick.
Ian, can you get into your email? I sent you a couple pictures.
Okay, let me get that.
This
going.
was last year I got my tech license and I built a homemade very preliminary, my first Go box. I sent you a couple pictures. I don't know if you can
Yep,
see them.
I got them. So I'm going to pull this over here and full screen that and share the screen. There you go. Go ahead and tell us about it.
So I had just recovered from major back surgery, and I got into the hobby, and I got these components. It's the 5100. So I got this plastic rack from Amazon for like $12, and so on the bottom I've got a power supply that I converted with Anderson. Yeah, that's another picture with the lantern on. That lantern is a 3D battery lantern. It lights up the whole room. It's a LED. It's incredible. It also has a dimmer switch on it, and it also has a blinker. That lantern is so powerful. I keep one in each of my vehicles. I got that on Amazon too for like $20.
Wow.
It's a real tiny. It's only like 4 inches high. It's incredibly strong. It's as bright, if not brighter, than my old Coleman lantern that I used to use for camping. I got 4 of them. I ended up getting more. So that's my little 5100. And so I figure, because I've got 2 antennas, one on the north side of the house and one on the east on my porch, disguised as because I'm in an association, condo association. I'm on the 2nd floor. So I have an antenna, 2 meter, 70 centimeter antenna just attached to my weather station on my front porch. So everybody says, "Oh man, what's that?" And I says, "Oh, it's a weather station." And then on my lanai on the south side, I have my mobile antenna on a pie plate, and I can also put this only weighs about 12 pounds, and I can put it right in the back of my Jeep. Just carry it, just put it in the back of the Jeep, and with my mobile antenna, so that it's like you say, there's nothing to do. Now it's there. I hooked up Anderson power poles on the power supply and the radio, and I also have the battery on top that I can go right to battery real easy. I also have a meter, and these and I have everything tied down with little bungee cords. So everything
Yeah, I
is
see
solid
that.
there. If I pick it up, it can't slide off. And I put little bungee cord loops all around to reinforce the plastic, make it real strong when I pick it up. And like I say, it doesn't take much room out, so it keeps out of the wife's hair. And I get my little corners, and I just plug in the antenna. I've got about 20-foot lengths antenna. It's very preliminary, but that's my first stab at it. I just wanted to share that. Thanks.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
No,
Thanks,
it works out great because anything that just makes it easier when you're moving your radios around,
And
it
it's
definitely
light.
works.
Yeah, and it's light because I can't pick anything up heavy, and so I keep it all together, and I can pick it up and move it, and it's no problem. So it's just like you were saying. It has to work for you.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
thank
And
you.
you have to get the right size for you. If you're going to be doing stuff by yourself and you can't lift something very heavy, then you definitely want to consider the plastic side box, the fabric box, the different fabric cases that are available, or consider a plastic shelving unit or what Joseph built out of material that he had there. So there's all kinds of different ways to do it, and I hope we've been going about an hour and 45 minutes on it. I hope we've reached a point here that we've answered any questions you might have about all the different kinds of go boxes that there are and the different ways I would wire them. If you have any specific questions about wiring, believe it or not, I'm pretty good with that kind of stuff. Both 110 and 12 volt. I'd be glad to help, or I could get you with somebody that would. This stuff is not complicated. If anybody is worried about not being industrious or not being able to mount things or do things like that, it's just a matter of getting over the edge on that. I know a number of hams that they understand the theory, they understand how things work and what things mean and all that, but they're just not screwdriver people. And do you know what the difference between a person that does industrious things and a person that doesn't? One's
Mm.
tried. That's the only difference. You can do it just as good as we can. I suck with a screwdriver. I suck with a tape measure. I'm suck at math. I suck at all of it. And I can still build antennas that talk very long distances and work
Yeah.
really, really well. And so
This isn't rocket science.
it's not rocket science. And look, we're not doing it for a boss. We're doing it for us. So it doesn't matter if it looks like shit or whatever. It's as long as it works. You know what I'm saying? That's all that matters. And so I want you guys to understand that you can do things like this. And if you totally cannot do it and need help, let's get together and work on them. Let's get together one day and work on them. We'll get together at a park. The weather's going to be nice for the next 6 months. This is Florida. 6 months of hell, 6 months of wonderful weather. So anyway, I know
Yeah,
a
it's
lot
on
of
the
people
points
like
of the
it
tech
warmer than
team.
me. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole idea of this thing is let's get together and let's work on stuff. But anyway, I want you guys to understand that Go boxes are something that your Go box can also be sitting on your desk, and it can be your main operating
Your primary station.
area. It's your primary station, and it's your Go kit, and it's your mobile station when you're out hunting. It can be a little bit of everything, and it can also be for use with the Aries team if you're doing that. It can be for use with contesting, and it can be going on vacation with you. So many different things to do with a Go box, and I plan on when I make my Go box, it's literally going to go everywhere with me. It's gonna obviously not every day, but I mean, like if I'm leaving town for a week, it will be going with me. And if we're gonna go, I am limited here as to what I can do with antennas. I don't have an HOA. I own my property, but I got big trees and a smaller lot. So between all that, I really don't have a whole lot of options here. I'm wanting to go eventually to where I can go to a park and I can go set up an antenna out at a park and make contacts that way. And so that's kind of my goal. In the next year, I want to be with a U rack, sitting in a park on a park bench, working with my vertical HF antenna, working FT8 or voice or something in a contest. That's really what I'd like to be doing in a year. We all set goals for ourselves in ham radio. My big goal for ham radio, I'm going to be honest with you, is I want to be up and running with mobile ops in a year with all my own equipment, my own antenna, and I want to be able to go out with a battery and operate, without power on my own accord. And that's kind of my thing. I want to do that, and it's a pretty big thing